Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with the Charlie Winters Show. Well, I haven't put the camera on today, so we're just looking at my screen. It's been a very quick video because I've been having a good look round, and there is an angle. It's quite an interesting angle, especially at Newbury. But I'm going to get into the selections. I'm going to talk you through them. So far, I've just had a 20 pence each way, lucky 63. What I would suggest is looking round for extra places. The horses that I will show you, they've all got chances, but it's a very tricky day's racing. It's not a great day's racing, but I do like the card at Sandown, and that's about it really. So let me get into it. So the first selection is actually at Warwick, and it is in the 225 at Warwick. It is Fugitive. Well, this horse is an 11-year-old. It's running in a veteran's chase. It handles soft ground, but like many of the others, there's question marks over heavy ground, but out of most of them, Fugitive is one of those that is more likely to handle the softening conditions, the heavy ground. I've seen at least three horses, two with chances, that do prefer good to soft or good ground. I'm not saying they won't go on today's ground, but I think at the prices that they could be vulnerable. And I think Fugitive, second run after a wind operation. I think the first run last time was slightly encouraging. It was on soft ground at Ascot in a competitive race, and then it just folded towards the end, which I can't blame it. It was a first run after a wind operation. Hopefully it runs much better today. I do believe they're paying 3 places instead of 2, or they're paying 3 places. Yeah, 3 places instead of 2. It says it on the screen. 32, I think it's got a good chance. I do believe Gavin Sheehan's riding. Gavin Sheehan is very decent when I think there's an advantage to be had. I'm not saying there is an advantage anywhere at Warwick Racecourse, but Gavin Sheehan is one of those jockeys that normally takes a very odd route sometimes and will do what he can to find better ground. So I think you've got one of the better jockeys on board. Fugitive, yeah, don't get wrong, it has lost its way, but if you go back last year, it actually ran in the Denman Chase, which was today. That was a much better race than what it is today. Excuse me, but the horse is beginning to gradually decline in performance because it's an 11-year-old now. It's not going to start improving. It might improve from its last run from the wind operation, but I'd like to see a place. I think at a place minimum. So 13-2, I think it's got a decent chance. The second selection is my screen's gone off. Second selection is Kintara at 8-1 in the 135 at Newbury. So at Newbury, I'm going to give you the heads up. So when it's on the flat and it's really bad ground, I do tend to favour, and I think it favours horses that race prominently. I am mainly talking about the flat. I know this isn't the flat, so I'm hoping it actually crosses over to the jumps. At Newbury, when it is really bad ground, they normally become very stretched out, which that happens at most courses. But I see an awful lot of horses held up towards the rear that never have a chance. Feel free to go through the years gone by on the flat, on heavy ground, or even softer heavy at Newbury and on the flat, and maybe you want to look for yourself before you actually follow me in. Maybe you're not even going to follow me in. Maybe you're going to do the opposite. I don't know. But Kintara, it's not ready for winning this race. But what I believe is it'll be a front runner. I think last time was a bit of a blip. Before that, it was running pretty well. It handles bad ground. It normally races prominently, and all the selections that I've picked, even though I've slightly changed my mind from a more fancied one that is maybe held up, I've gone for horses that race prominently, and I do think that is the way to go. I don't mind having egg on my face because I do believe, well, I prefer not to, but I do believe you need to look for an angle, and this is my angle today. Newbury, horses that race with the pace. And I'm not talking about a 4-runner race where there's only 5 lengths between them, and the horse in last, in 5 lengths behind, comes and wins. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your 8s, your 10s, your 12 runners. I think there's even a 16-runner race. Those that are held up, I'm not saying they can't win. I just think it's extra hard today, and I'm more than happy to put a line through, even if it's a favourite. So yeah, so there you are. So Kintara at 8-1 in the 135 at Newbury. So in the 1 o'clock at Newbury, this is a tricky race because there's already been non-runners. even the horse that was taken out was my fancy, and that is even obviously a non-runner now. So they're down to 8 runners. If this goes to 7, well, the problem is we're on 100 to 20, 125 to 1 chance, and the problem is the favourites are something like 4 to 5 and 6 to 4. So we're probably not going to have a sniff. So we need, if there is going to be a non-runner, which we hope there isn't, ideally, which they're not going to do, we could do with them changing the betting from paying 3 instead of 2. They're not going to do that. They're going to be rob dogs like they normally are and let us suffer. But yeah, 125 to 1, heir apparent in the 1 o'clock at Newbury. Basically, the third, fourth, and fifth in the betting, there's nothing at all between them. I have crossed a couple out where they've been keen. I do believe this Dan Skelton horse is possibly slightly flattered by the fact that it's Dan Skelton at a big price. There literally is nothing, in my opinion. I think they're rated something like, on the Racing Post ratings, 91, 93 and 95. There's nothing in that. They're all pretty much, well, I won't really say progressive, but unexposed is the word, sorry. So a lot of them, they are unexposed because a lot of them's only had 2 or 3 runs, and sometimes 1 or 2 of those runs have been in the point-to-point field. So it's very interesting. I just think heir apparent at 125 to 1 with 8 runners is a bit of an exciting shout, to be fair. I think it's got a bit of a sniff. Excuse me. The next selection is Mildam at 14 to 1 in the 320 at Newbury, paying 4 places instead of 3. Right, this horse I think has got a decent chance. If there was a top jockey on board, I would really fancy this one. The problem is, and I don't want to criticise a jockey because she's clearly ridden more horses than I have. She's only a £5 claimer now, so clearly she's ridden winners. But I would have preferred a more. It's not because she's female; it's because it's an inexperienced jockey, and that's my concern. It's Isabel Ryder. I know they were raving about her not long ago. I don't know much about her, but I would have just preferred a more experienced jockey. Mildam will be up towards the front. And I think it's in quite decent form, to be honest. Jamie Snowden has had a few winners recently, not loads, but he also had a runner, and I think he came placed in the end at Cheltenham recently. I do think he's a decent trainer with very little ammunition. So yeah, Mildam in the 320 at Newbury, paying 4 places instead of 3. The next selection is Jigs Forge at 5 to 1 in the 355 at Newbury. This has got a bit of a chance. The first 2 are higher rated than this selection. So basically, it's a front runner again, and it's a Ben Pauling horse. Ben Pauling horses, they seem very national hunt type of horses, if you know me. Big, I hate to use this expression as well. Big stamps of a horse, you know, that kind of. They're all normally. They all normally look like chasers. I believe this heavy ground, Jigs Forge. I haven't seen this horse, so I imagine it's a typical profile of a Ben Pauling horse, where it'll be a big, strong horse. It normally is up with the pace. I do believe it's made all in the past and raced prominently. So, or attempted to make all. It will definitely be up there with the pace if they stick to the same tactics as normal. And if there is a draw bias, I would have thought so. If there is a ground bias, I do believe this horse could take advantage of it and be very difficult to peg back. And finally, Limerick Star at 7 to 1 in the 1240 at Warwick. And guess what? I can't remember about this one, but I do. What 1240? Let me tell you. I don't want to leave you in limbo. You won't be able to see the screen properly because I haven't prepared this. But in the 1240, and I'll try and guess who trained it before it comes up. Nothing. Right. This is a maiden hurdle. 8 runners again. This is an interesting one. Yeah, so this horse is 8 to 1 currently. I've got it at 7s on there. We've got best odds guarantee with it. So what it is, it ran to a racing post rating of 113, which is very good in the context of this race. It's a tasty price, and I did look at the jockey, and once again, I think his name's something like, well, I'm not saying the previous name was this name, but wrong choice of words. Mr. Jack Stenhouse. Never heard of him, but he did ride a runner the other day over chase fences for this stable, and it got a racing post difference of 0. That means the horse basically ran to its level. So, and it came second. So I'm happy with that because it basically the horse ran up to its ability. So that is basically just tick the box saying this guy can ride. I'll. It's not a very convincing way to look at it, but he rode it over chase fences. I do believe this. Yeah, this is a maiden hurdle, so it's over hurdles. He's taking a valuable £7 off, and I believe the bookmakers maybe look too literally at the fact that it's an amateur jockey taking 7 off, and I just think they've maybe underrated this horse. It should be prominent, not as though I've really mentioned that for Warwick Racecourse. It's more of Newbury I was talking about, but I do believe this horse has got a very good chance. I do believe it ran at Exeter. It was prominent. It received a reminder after the fourth hurdle, sorry, and you would think, oh, here we go. But it plodded on, and it wasn't beaten that far behind 2 decent horses. I'm just thinking this one's a relentless galloper. Maybe Warwick might not suit it, but if it's in the first 2, maybe it might just keep rolling and actually be hard to peg back again and get a place in the first 3. I just think it's one of them days where horses are going to have to roll up their can't think of the word now. They have to roll up the sleeves. It's not virtual sleeves. Put the word in the comments if you can remember. But yeah, I like the 6 horses. There will be a football bet. I haven't put that on yet. This bet has been placed. This is the my bets section on Ladbrokes. There you go. So I will be picking a football bet. There will be, I believe, 3 selections. Both teams to score treble half time. Both teams to score in before half time treble. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goal treble. So I'm gonna push a few stats through ChatGPT, and there will be a bet. It's 9 o'clock currently, or 5 past. It will be in the description and the comment by 11 a.m. So I wish you the very best of luck. Let me know in the comments if you've got anything to say, any questions. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.